Today's a WRAL weather alert day. We had some overnight storms that are pulling away, but another chance later this afternoon. I'll walk you through the timeline.
New parental powers. Lawmakers are looking closer at a ban on social media for preteens and expanding parents' rights at the doctor's office. Why they stand out today as proposals most likely to become law.
Getting a gold star. The REAL ID deadline is just 2 days away now. With busy days expected at the DMV as people rush to upgrade their licenses for ease of travel. Will certainly make flying, even domestically, a little bit easier here. Straight up 6 o'clock right now on your Monday. Getting started with us. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Welcome to your Monday. Over the weekend, we got a good dose of rain, and today we could see more rain and storms. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tracking those storms for us.
One of these was pretty loud in our northeastern counties overnight last night. That has started to pull away, but we do have a chance for showers and thunderstorms redeveloping between noon and 6 o'clock. Scattered storms are likely to produce some damaging winds and hail, but it's likely to be maybe just a handful or maybe 1 or 2 storms that could produce that wind damage or hail. And again, mainly along and east of US 1. Hour by hour rain chances, again, starting right around lunchtime, ending around 5 or 6 o'clock. And we'll see a lot of those from the Triangle area eastward. Some of our western counties are probably not going to be affected. Take a look at this. I don't even remember when I've seen this camera look this foggy. This is a look down Fayetteville Street from our Jimmy V camera. Off in the distance is Memorial Auditorium. 60 degrees right now heading out the door. Dew point at 57. So lots of moisture in the atmosphere. Looking at a quarter-mile visibility or less from Clinton to Goldsboro to Rocky Mount to Roxborough. So definitely seeing some pockets of this patchy fog across the viewing area today. Our high temperature does climb to around 80 degrees. And starting tomorrow, we're in a drier pattern. I'll show you how long that could last. Coming up, Ken.
6:01, Elizabeth. For those of you getting ready to head out, boy, if you're in the Bull City and I-885 is part of your morning commute, if any road in Durham is part of your morning commute, this is what you're looking at. I-85, TW Alexander Drive. You can see those foggy conditions out there. To the east of Raleigh, we're seeing some similar foggy conditions as well. I-87 and Lizard Lake Road. I can't encourage you enough to leave the house a little sooner than usual just to be on the safe side. Right now, we don't have any incidents on any of our major routes, but you can see where the fog is most thick to the east of Raleigh. You're getting ready to head into the cardboard. Take us with you on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
2 people have minor injuries after a crash that happened around 2:30 this morning in Durham. The WRAL breaking news tracker was on the scene after a car hit a tree near Hope Valley Road and Garrett Road. This happened right in front of the parking lot of a realty company there, and police say they do not believe alcohol was a factor.
You could face even longer lines at the DMV in the coming days. The REAL ID deadline is Wednesday. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is at the DMV on Avent Ferry Road in Raleigh. Kelsey, they expect an even busier week.
Yes, Renee, we saw folks lining up here starting at 5 o'clock this morning. So you can see them waiting for the DMV to open this morning at 7 o'clock. Now, the DMV has tried to cut down wait times, but they could only get worse now that people have 2 days left to get a REAL ID. Starting Wednesday, you will need a REAL ID or another acceptable form of ID to fly in the U.S. If you've gotten a new ID in the last few years, it could already be a REAL ID. If you're not sure if you have one, just look for a star in the upper right corner of your driver's license. Last month, the North Carolina DMV expanded their work hours at 42 locations. Now, most DMV offices are open 10 hours a day statewide. But that still may not be enough to cut wait times as people are scrambling to meet the May 7th deadline. Coming up in the next half hour, WRAL's 5 on Your Side will explain how a passport may come in handy if you can't meet that deadline. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
There's another deadline coming this week, this one for lawmakers deciding what items have the best shot at becoming laws. Now, WRAL's Laura Levine is at the State Legislative Building in Raleigh right now. Laura, one of those contenders includes a social media ban for kids under 14.
Jeff, good morning. It is a very busy week here at the State Legislative Building for both chambers. It's called Crossover Week, which is generally used as a way to separate the bills that have a chance of passing from the hundreds of others that do not. So with lawmakers really pushing their top priorities through this week, we can expect to see some long voting sessions. Today, House members are expected to consider more than 20 bills. One of those bills would ban social media accounts for children under 14 without a parent's approval. Another bill they will debate would
would give parents more access to their children's medical records and conversations had with their doctor. WRAL's NC Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie explains why critics are against it.
He encourages kids to ask these questions that they might be afraid to ask at home or might be too embarrassed to ask. And they say that kids should be able to come to their doctor and talk about, for example, a mental health crisis instead of keeping it to themselves.
Meanwhile, on the other spectrum of this, some supporters say that they actually need access to their children's medical records, especially parents. Of course, WRAL will continue to follow all of the latest developments coming from this week. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Homeowners in a Raleigh neighborhood were rattled by the sound of gunshots during a large late-night party at a rental home. This happened around 1 yesterday morning at a house on Bickett Boulevard, and that's near the city's Five Points area. Neighbors shared video of the large police response shortly after shots rang out. Neighbors also showed us pictures of the crime scene tape officers put up while they investigated. One neighbor's Ring doorbell video captured the moment someone fired shots. Raleigh police say no one was shot, but one girl was hurt while running away. People who live nearby say there needs to be a better vetting process for the short-term renters to make sure something like this doesn't happen again.
A 16-year-old boy is dead after he was shot. Durham police say the shooting happened on North Holman Street yesterday afternoon. The investigation lasted for more than 9 hours, and we spoke with some family members of that teenager.
It's just sad. Nobody ever wants to have to, deal with anything like this. So it's just sad. It's heartbreaking.
A cousin of the 16-year-old victim says his name was Jaleel. Durham police tell us they believe this is an isolated incident.
At least one person is hurt after this crash in Durham. The WRAL breaking news tracker was on Coal Mill Road last night after the two-car crash. Police say one of the cars went down a hill and was pinned within the trees. One person was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. We're working to learn more about what led to the crash and if anyone else was hurt.
3 people are hurt after a shooting at a house party in southeast Raleigh. Police say it happened about 1:30 yesterday morning on Mackinac Island Road. Officers found 2 adults and a juvenile who had been shot, and they are all expected to live. Police don't have anyone in custody yet. They are saying that there is no ongoing threat to the community.
Security vulnerabilities in Power School undetectable by North Carolina or school leaders. Earlier this year, WRAL told you a hacker stole data from the student information system. Since then, we've learned Power School paid a ransom and watched the hacker delete the data in a video. That data included social security numbers and other personal information like addresses and grades. State officials say annual reviews did not detect any security flaws with Power School or its contractors. One parent says her trust in school leaders is broken.
There's no way that they could give me that security because they've completely lost all of my trust. What they can do going forward, don't ask for anything personal like that.
Who is protecting your child's data and the fix Power School is offering teachers and families? Our months-long investigation into the Power School data breach tonight at 6.
A prominent voice who called for independent testing of NC State's Poe Hall has died of cancer. Darren Major was one of more than 200 people who worked or studied in Poe Hall and later developed cancer. NC State closed Poe Hall in 2023 after testing revealed cancer-causing chemicals throughout that building. Last spring, Major successfully fought for the right to gain access into Poe Hall and conduct testing independent of the university. He was 58 years old. WRAL has been covering Poe Hall extensively, and you can read more about these stories. WRAL.com.
Today, St. Andrews University will officially close its doors. The small private university in Laurinburg, North Carolina, ended operations at the end of the spring semester. St. Andrews University is a branch campus of Weber International University, and the campus president says the school had financial issues. St. Andrews has had its accreditation revoked by the Southern Association of Colleges in 2007.
Time is 6:08 here in the WRAL Live Center. Good morning. I'm Chris Lovingood here, showing you what the U.S. futures overnight look. And I'm showing this because last week CNBC said that we were coming off of a winning streak, actually the longest in about 2 decades. But you'll see here the U.S. futures overnight Monday, S&P 500 at 44 below there. Dow Jones down 270 points and NASDAQ down 189 here. But this is also coming off of that rather positive jobs report we had last week. Numbers looking a lot better than expected, though the number of jobs added were kind of lower compared to March, though. But in terms of what things are looking like during the opening bell, we'll watch closely for that at 9:30 this morning to see how the stocks are faring, because this is just a look at what things are looking like overnight into Monday. We'll keep our eye on the markets this morning on WRAL News.
People who live in Person County are pushing back against a second methane gas plant near Hyco Lake. Duke Energy will share its plan during a public hearing today. The power plant would be supplied by a huge methane gas pipeline, and people who live there are concerned because the pipeline's path would take it within a few hundred feet of Woodland Elementary School, which would be at risk if any gas leak occurs. That hearing is tonight at 7 at the Person County Courthouse.
In Cumberland County today, leaders will consider approving more money for the upgraded Crown Event Center venue. The Board of Commissioners could approve more than $500,000 to be added to the $145 million project. The additional money would be used to make the new building ADA accessible. The Crown Event Center is not set to open until 2027.
Clayton's Hokut Ellington Memorial Library will close today, and staff will be moving books and other materials to a temporary location while renovations are made on that library. Events will be held at the Clayton Town Hall and Clayton Center while the library is closed.
Flight delay woes. Travelers heading through Newark Airport are facing hours-long wait times. The staffing shortages causing headaches for people looking to catch a flight.
And student loan repayments. The COVID-era pause on interest and penalties is over today. What you need to know to prevent those loans from going to collections.
And just issued a dense fog advisory in effect for most of our viewing area. We are seeing fog thick in places. We'll take a look at some of the cameras and talk about our chance for thunderstorms this afternoon coming up.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:14, and we do have some patchy fog across our area. As a matter of fact, right behind me is our Garner Tower looking across Wake County, and you can see that pretty thick deck of low cloud cover and fog out there. But it's not the only thing we're talking about today. Today is also a WRAL Weather Alert Day. We have a dense fog advisory in effect this morning, isolated severe storms later on today. It's a level 1 risk for severe storms for most of our viewing area. That level 1 risk means that just a few of those storm cells this afternoon could produce some wind damage. And we take a look at what those chances are, and we put that up, and our risk would be for wind and hail, but it's a low risk for both of those. Again, this would be an isolated severe threat for us later on today. And look at the timeline. It's likely to be between noon and right around the time of the evening commute. Ken?
Elizabeth, our goal is to make sure our viewers know exactly what to expect if they're getting ready to head out the door, because this is what we're looking at I-440 and New Bern Avenue. You can barely make out the traffic that's coming toward us. Those are the westbound lanes. In Durham, we've got I-40 and the Durham Freeway. Not much traffic to report, and the fog isn't affecting your commute so far, but we'll keep an eye on it. 101.5 HD3, take us with you on the radio.
Ken, thank you. The longtime head of RDU International Airport has died. The airport says John Brantley died on Friday. Brantley was the director of the airport from 1982 until 2011. He led the construction of a 10,000-foot runway, American Airlines hub facilities, roadways and parking garages, the construction of Terminal 2, and the redevelopment of Terminal 1. Brantley was 82.
People are dealing with major delays at Newark International Airport in New Jersey. The shortage of certified air traffic controllers is affecting flights across the country. At Newark, the Federal Aviation Administration implemented a ground delay program last night. Flights were being delayed an average of almost 4 hours. Delays like this have been going on for over a week at Newark's airport, and the FAA says staffing is one of the major reasons for those delays.
Collection of defaulted federal student loans resumes today after a 5-year pause related to the pandemic. The U.S. Education Department has not collected on defaulted loans since March 2020. Michelle McConaughey here now with the warning from experts if your debt gets sent to collections. Michelle.
Renee, defaulting usually means missing payments for 270 days or more. And the government says that can now lead to garnishments of state or federal benefits. Of the nearly 43 million people who owe money, only a little more than a third have made regular payments. All borrowers in default should have received an email from the Office of Federal Student Aid alerting them to the changes. The Department of Education estimates about 5 million borrowers have defaulted on student loans, and it says another 4 million are at least 90 days late on payments. Experts suggest all borrowers visit their loan provider's website to confirm their status and also update their contact information.
If your debt gets sent to collections, that goes onto your credit report, and that can impact your ability to get an apartment, a mortgage, a car loan, even some employer's check.
Officials said the email urges borrowers to contact the default resolution group if a person is worried about defaulting. They could look into an income-based repayment plan, payment pauses called deferment or forbearance, or consolidation or refinancing. Also, experts say it's important to watch out for those student loan-related scams.
Thanks, Michelle. Tar Heel football legend is tackling mental health. Greg Ellis was recently inducted into the North Carolina Sports Hall of Fame. Ellis was an All-American at UNC, and the East Wake star went on to have a 12-year NFL career. He's now tackling a different challenge. He created an app called GMH, short for Getting My Help. It's designed to provide free mental health services. Ellis says he has seen people struggle with their mental health, and he wants to provide a free resource for people who need it.
They have an opportunity to reach out and research potential places where they can get help from without having to go door to door, asking their neighbors, asking friends, because sometimes that can seem, a little much.
Yeah, according to the Mayo Clinic, a significant number of people avoid getting that help because of stigma and cost.
It is Cinco de Mayo, but it looks more like Halloween out there with that dense fog in a lot of places. Right now, we're not seeing much rain or showers, although you've been trekking this cell that's been moving on out.
Yeah, it's finally out of here, but it was a pretty loud one earlier today. By the time we get to lunchtime into the afternoon, we're back to a chance of storms. So we do have a WRAL weather alert day for today. It's an isolated severe threat for us this afternoon. Likely to have a chance of some damaging wind or hail, but again, only 1 or 2 storms would likely produce anything that would reach severe criteria. Most of that would be, say, from the Triangle area eastward, and the farther east you go, the better chance of seeing that, especially along the I-95 corridor or closer to the coast. Again, isolated wind damage would be the biggest threat for this afternoon. Here's a look at the timeline, looking at anywhere from around lunchtime into the evening hours, say 5, 6 o'clock. That's when we'd have the best chance of seeing any of those showers and thunderstorms. Here's a look at Futurecast, and you can see a good bit of cloud cover out there on and off for us this morning. We do have some fog that has developed. We've got the potential for some scattered storms starting to pop up right around lunchtime. Notice the coverage. I'll pause it right here at 3 o'clock. There's not a lot of activity that pops up for us today. It's fairly isolated again, especially from Raleigh eastward. There's 5 o'clock and it's pretty much over by that point. So it's not likely to have a huge impact on the evening commute, but you may run into some of that as you're heading out and about. Our next weather maker is a low pressure system that rolls back in on Friday. That'll bring us an upgraded chance for some rain Friday, but we should dry out by Mother's Day, if not before. All right, so our rain chances, 60% chance today, and then a 50% chance on Friday, but it looks like it may be just a one-day event with some drier conditions for the weekend. Our forecast rainfall looking like this, anywhere from maybe 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch over the next 5 days or so, but we're definitely dealing with some fog out there this morning. This is a look down Fayetteville Street as we're looking toward Memorial Auditorium. This is a look from our Jimmy V camera. We're seeing a lot of sites like that across our area this morning. Visibility down to 1/4 of a mile in many places. As a matter of fact, from Clinton to Goldsboro to Rocky Mount to Roxborough, we're seeing reduced visibility, but we're also seeing a lot of that in the Triangle as well. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday look nice and dry, and then again, we do have that chance for some thunderstorms again on Friday. Ken?
I live at 621. You take a look at these live map this morning. You can see where the fog is really most thick this morning. Let's take you right outside, courtesy of photographer Michael Joyner and reporter Laura Levine. They'll be driving around for the next couple of hours just to give you an idea of what to expect. Of course, they're driving in the downtown area. That's the convention center right there to the right. So wherever you're headed this morning, I will strongly encourage you to leave the house a little sooner than usual just to be on the safe side. You get ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Ken, thanks for that. More fog in Clinton here. And a search for a suspect this morning. Authorities are looking for a man who they say shot and killed a store clerk during an armed robbery. We'll have a look at the security video from this local gas station.
A deadly crash. Police say a motorcycle rider was killed. What we know about the crash.
And ahead on today, Warren Buffett announces his retirement. His concerns over Trump administration tariffs as he takes this next step.
And here's a look at your winning lottery numbers. We'll be right back with what's trending.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
One of the biggest nights in fashion is here.
And a celebrity birthday celebration. Not Ken Smith, but he is here now with What's Trending, Ken.
Yeah, let's start with that birthday bash. Gigi Hadid celebrating her 30th. The model showing off photos from her party with big stars in attendance. And also in one of those photos, a kiss with Bradley Cooper, confirming a relationship that's been speculated since 2023.
There it is. And she captioned the post, "I feel so lucky to be 30. And do you know how the two met? They met at a mutual friend's kid's birthday party. So they each have a daughter, and what a wholesome and relatable way to meet, right? These two celebrities, and now they're a thing.
That cake looked incredible.
Love it. Hey, listen, tonight is the Met Gala. New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art will be filled with high-profile celebrities for this annual star-studded fundraising event. This year's theme is paying homage to the evolution of black menswear.
High-powered co-hosts as well. Pharrell Williams, Coleman Domingo, British race car driver Lewis Hamilton will be there, rapper A$AP Rocky, so they got it all covered.
Yeah, all rocking the red carpet.
Absolutely. And
Thanks,
thank you.
It's a foggy start in Zebulon and for a lot of our viewing area. We have a new dense fog advisory just posted. I'll show you where the foggiest conditions will be as you head out the door.
The Real ID deadline starting Wednesday. You'll need that star on your license to take domestic flights without a passport. The backup's expected at the DMV as people get their IDs updated.
And bills with promise. State lawmakers are working to push forward policies expected to become laws. The highest contenders debated today, including a ban on preteen social media use and changes to health disclosure rights for parents.